Hey everybody, this is Eddy Dacius. I'm here with Grace Ann Johnson. She's very amazing. She will tell us about her career. We will be talking about her, and she's going to be introducing herself.
Welcome to the Divine Purpose Podcast, where we transport you along one of the more dynamic journeys of life. Have you ever been curious to know what it takes to become a successful leader? Or about knowing the secrets of life through the Bible? How about engaging in conversation where no topics are off limits? We will take you to new levels with guests who can help you grasp the importance of your calling. Now, here's your host, Eddy Dacius, founder of Dacius Facilities Management.
And thank you for having us today. This is a great episode. Let's introduce our guest. Hey, Grace, how are you today?
Hello, everyone. I am doing well. Thank you so much for asking. How about you, Eddy?
I'm great. Thank you for being here with us today and very appreciate it.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
our first question is, what can you tell us about you?
Oh my word. So listen, everyone, I am fantastic. Who am I? I am a focus fulfilled, purpose driven, someone who is created to build, encourage, and helping those who are around this world who I impact to live life on purpose by utilizing their gift, their talents, their skills, making them marketable assets. I am a mom. I am a wife. I am a CEO, I'm an author, I'm a life coach, and I am a speaker. So there you go. There I am. I am encompassing a whole lot of things. The main thing of which I'm most excited about is being a wife and a mom. Forgot that. I also partner with my husband to lead a small church in Harlem,
Oh
Harlem,
man,
NYC.
really? Oh man, wow. So are you a pastor or is your husband?
My husband is the pastor.
So
You
you're
know,
a pastor's wife.
super.
Oh man, that's great. That's great. So
Yes.
thank you for sharing this, and we're very excited to have you today. So
Yes.
question for you. You talk about, and that's one thing I like in this podcast. Every guest is teaching me something new. Yes, we have the name, the divine purpose, but I can explain it away. But you, as a guest, you already tap into it. You're talking
Mhm.
about purpose. Can you go deeper on what happened for you? Or did you came about to embrace your calling?
Wow. Oh my goodness, Eddy. There are so many different things that occurred in my life, right? That is why I'm doing what I'm doing now. The main thing is that about 6 years ago, I would say today, this month makes six
Yeah.
years, right? That I have identified my purpose and my calling. However, I did not step out on it. It was about 6 years ago when my son called me at work and he said, "Mommy, where are you? Why aren't you coming home?" Right? It was about 9:30 at night and I was
Wow.
still in the office. And he proceeded to say, "Mommy, you weren't
Yep.
at home this morning
Yep.
when we woke up.
Wow.
And now that we're going to bed, you're still not home. Are you coming home?"
Wow.
Yeah. So once he said that, I was
Yes.
crushed. I was crushed. So I had to make a pivot then. And God just really opened up. I took a year off. With that, I took a year
Wow.
off of work. I took a year off just to hone in on my kids. You know how we've wanted to have kids for so long. I don't know about
Yes.
you guys, but my husband and I waited 5 years to have
Wow.
kids.
Okay.
Right? We started having kids because my career, I was so driven. And so I put my career at front. Then I started having kids. I wanted them badly, but I never, owned the fact that being a mom. So that mom guilt really held me
Wow.
hostage for a while,
Yeah.
as well as when that mom guilt met with the disappointment of my child, that really caused me to pivot. It really caused me to think about what sort of impact am I making? Am I making on my child, on my children at the
Yeah.
time, two boys? What kind of impact? Grace, you're out here trying to do all these things, but what kind of impact are you making on them? So I really
Wow.
had to pivot then.
Yeah, you were like amazing for everybody else, but your
Yes,
son, your children, they need you
yes.
to be amazing for them too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's my pivot point, Eddie. That's really like the time when I had to really take a look and say, hey, wait, Grace, what's going on?
Yeah.
Because I was growing. I was at the peak of my career. I was growing, getting promotions, getting
Yes.
accolades, all of the things that I hoped for. In terms of finances, I was achieving it because that was a great part, and you'll hear all about it. That was a great part of why I wanted to achieve great things in life. I wanted the finances to be able to take care of my family because I didn't have a lot of
Yeah.
that growing up, right?
Okay.
I didn't have a lot of that. That's one of the most challenging parts of my life is watching my mom work three different jobs when we came to America just because she wanted to be able to take care of us as her children and
Yeah.
then take care of those who were back in Jamaica, because they didn't have it. So I
Wow.
really wanted to make great moves, and the
Okay.
job allowed me to do that. But then something happened and I had to pause for a second.
So let's make it 360. Let's go to your upbringing. How was it living in your country and transitioning to the US?
Wow. My mom really worked hard. I was the last of 13 kids,
Okay.
right? I'm
Yeah.
the last girl. Let me correct that. The last girl of 13 children, right?
Yes.
And so my mom and dad, they didn't have, the best of education. So they did what they could. My mom was very instrumental in my upbringing, right? Because she showed me that no matter what you have, you just have to value yourself enough, push hard enough, and keep on going at it, right? So while we had a tough time, we learned resilience. We learned how to continue
Yeah.
to serve people, but also to utilize what we had. So let's just say nothing went to waste. Nothing went to waste in our
Yeah.
house.
I
And
know.
and my mom and dad absolutely showed us how to and use what we have and also help the people that were around us.
Yes.
So while it was tough, we saw others that had an even harder time, and so our heart was to share what we had. So for me, I'm a total giver.
Yeah.
I will give
Yeah.
away everything if I had to. And that's because I saw that with my mom. We didn't have it easy, but we knew and we saw that there
Okay.
were people who had it even worse than us, you
Wow.
know?
No,
So
definitely,
yeah,
definitely. So, how was the transition leaving
yeah,
the country and
yeah.
coming here?
So my goodness, it was challenging. I came here when I was 14 years old, right?
Yeah.
At 14, I migrated from Jamaica to the United States.
Oh wow.
And it wasn't easy.
By the way, I went to Jamaica. I went to Mobay. Oh man, beautiful country.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, go on.
It wasn't easy, Eddie. And Mobay is beautiful. And the crazy thing about that is that I didn't really see the beauty of Jamaica until I came here, got to adulthood, and then went back there and visited. And
Okay,
I saw all of its goodness. But the transition for me was tough. It was tough because
okay.
I did not have anyone there to help me to navigate being here, being a teenager, going to college, going from high school to college, and then transitioning into the world of career.
Okay.
I didn't really have anyone there. Most of my adult sisters were in Jamaica,
Okay.
and none of them at this point had gone to college. So I was the first one to now go and go ahead and get a college degree. Right. I had a
Wow.
younger brother who did the same, but it was hard because I didn't have someone there to help me to navigate. right? And because of that, balancing now, going from going to high school, dealing with the challenges there, then going on to college, making sure that I put myself through college. It
Oh,
wasn't it
yeah.
wasn't mom nor dad,
Yep,
unfortunately.
I
Right?
know.
It was you can relate, I'm
Yes,
sure, you
yes.
know.
Yep, I relate to this, and like you said, there's a faith that needed for this too, because you just go into a direction you don't even know. You can't even see the end of the tunnel,
No.
but you just keep working,
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
going.
You keep digging, you keep
Again.
believing, you
Yeah.
keep believing in yourself that you can accomplish great things, right? My mom believed in me, and she didn't want me to have to do all the juggling that she was doing. So she was a great force behind me as well, but she didn't have the money. So I had to decide, Grace, I got a partial scholarship and I used it, but there was still so much more that was needed.
Yes.
And you know what? One of the first year of college, Eddie, you know what happened? My dad came here,
Yep.
then he passed away little after he came here.
Okay.
And I was
Hear that.
devastated.
Sorry to hear that.
I was devastated. At first, the hero complex kicked in, right? And
Yep.
so I'm here. I know I speak clear language. I understand. I've been going to school here. So I'm helping my mom and everyone else to get things done,
Yep.
right? Getting the credit cards. I'm working 2 jobs and going to
Oh
school,
man.
right? So it
Yep.
was challenging, but I did all of that. 6 months later, I crashed.
Oof.
6 months later, I had to take some time off of going to school
Wow.
because I had fallen into, I was in denial for all that time. And then now, when it's hitting me, I was just like, whoa, what's going on? I got to a place where I was failing some of my subjects.
Oh.
Yeah. And when I went to the professor and I'm like, how am I doing? And they're like, Grace Ann, we believe that it may be best for you to take some time off and then come back.
Come back. Wow.
I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do it. However, because I didn't want to do it because I felt like I was failing.
Wow.
I felt like I was failing my mom. I would be failing myself. I want to be a great finisher, you know? And so I didn't want to do it. But I had to face the reality and pause. You know, pausing does not mean that I'm at a dead end or I'm not going to complete it. It means that I am pausing until the right time.
Yeah.
I'm taking a momentary stop and until the right time, and then get back on it. And I got back on it, and I ended.
Pausing means reloading.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes,
Reloading. Get ready for next challenge.
exactly.
So my question would be, can you identify the three most challenging event in your life?
Sure. It was with the passing of my mom and dad, number one.
Yeah. So,
Where it was so challenging for me, as I just explained with my dad. For my mom, it was hard as well. But she done a great job, and so we were a little bit more prepared for that. Then it was when I got so hurt by a few friends who anchored in me, okay, you're not enough, you're not enough. That feeling, that thought was already there. So it kind of knocked me down a bit more, causing me to not to pause again for several years. Then I would have to say it was leading and leaving in corporate America. Leading and leading corporate America, right? So
wow.
I say that because leading in a world where it's so yes, male dominated, it's so vast, right? There were times where in my career I'm the only colored woman in a high role, in an executive role. But I got to the place where I just had to work. I had to own it. I had to
Yep.
own my role, right? I had to own it. I hear that music and I wanna start swaying.
No,
I,
definitely.
I
And
wanna
what you're
yeah,
saying is so important because I'm sure somebody listening, watching us
yes,
in this podcast will relate.
yes,
And everybody go through it. It's not gonna be the same story, but I'm sure it's gonna be the same result.
yeah,
When you embrace your calling,
yeah.
you're free.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one of the things I believe the most about where I am today.
Yeah.
When I began last year, I as I was working as an executive leader in finance, um, it was challenging because it was a year of pandemic. There were so many different things that
Yeah.
you were thrust into as in finance because all the owners want to know, are they going to make it?
Yeah.
Can they, it
Yeah.
was a
A lot
pivoting
of
point,
pressure.
a lot of pressure, but I did it. However, I was at a place where it was not what I was doing. The responsibilities that I had was not where my purpose lied, right?
Mm.
It I wasn't fulfilled. And so I had to ask myself, Grace, where are you? Because a lot of days I felt so frustrated about going to work. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
I love the people that I worked with.
Okay.
But what I did and the people that I led, I led them with full authority and encouraged them to the maximum.
Yeah.
But I wasn't happy about what I was doing. So it caused me to really sit back and ask Grace, what is it that you need? What is it that you need to do to allow you to have that life of freedom and fulfillment? And that's what led me to what I'm doing now.
Wow. So one thing I like to ask is, so what was your dream job in high school? If it was the same in college and or now.
Oh wow. In high school, I wanted to be a fashion designer.
Oh man, that's great.
But then I sucked at drawing, right?
Oh,
I was I couldn't draw. I mean, the most of the figures I made were stick man,
yeah,
those with the head and the
yeah,
ones who have the body. So I couldn't draw. And but now I know the fashion that I like to see and that I like to put on,
yeah,
and I know great fashion. So in high school, I wanted to be a fashion designer. Even before high school, we would play games, my
yeah,
sisters and I would dream about it. Then, college, I absolutely wanted to be in a field that would allow me to lead and allow me to help those who I'm leading, right? To grow and to
yeah.
expand. So I didn't realize until I was in my 11th year, junior year, and senior year that, maybe finance, right?
Finance.
And can I tell you how I got into that?
No, go ahead,
Into
go ahead.
finance? So in high school, I struggled greatly in mathematics.
Okay,
Then I had a teacher who said, "Come, let me tutor you." Right? And I would get to school at 7 a.m. in the morning. 7 a.m. And he would take the first 45 minutes just to nail in me algebra and all of those different
yep.
subjects in math, right? And so I did great. On my SATs in math, I scored top scores. So with
Wow.
that, I was over the moon. I was super excited. Then at 17, I started doing bookkeeping for my church that I was a
Okay.
part of. So they gave me a bit of exposure, and I said, okay, I could do this. So while through college, I was doing bookkeeping for and administrative work for the company I worked for.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but I was studying something else.
Okay.
I was studying because I knew deep down inside I was more about people. I love working with people. I love helping people. And while finance or accounting helped me to get the money and to help me to feel great
Yeah.
about and passionate about it, I knew deep down inside I was more driven to working with people and helping them. So that was my funny story about
No,
ending up in
that's great.
finance.
Oh, that's
And
great. Great.
then I did it for another 20 years, right? So
Oh man. But I heard you over another podcast. I think it's a live show where you were talking about the great resignation.
the great resignation.
Oh
Wow.
man.
Of course. Can you fathom? I haven't seen the numbers yet for October. It came out, I believe, December 7th. I haven't
Yeah.
looked at them yet. But in September, it was 4.4 million people that walked out, got up and left. In August, 4.2 million that got up and left. The numbers now are staggering. There is over 20 million people who left their jobs all throughout this year, right? Can you imagine?
Uh,
I was floored. And I pay attention to that, Eddie, because I know I left in 2020, right?
yeah.
But again, it was to fulfill my purpose. I knew I wanted to do more. I knew that what I was called for was greater than where I was.
Yep.
So I mean, I got up and left. But why I was tracking those is because of the book that I wrote, Transition to Freedom, of
Mm,
course. And so I wanted to really reach those people who are leaving to ensure that what we're leaving for is our purpose and that we're really gonna work towards making a greater impact on the lives of the people that we're around and not just selfishly getting up and jumping ship.
eh, and like I said, I think I could never be in a presence to somebody who know better in this subject. So
Yeah.
I will be curious to ask you this question where I feel like purpose is meeting this destiny.
Yeah.
So can allow me to understand where yes, a lot of people are leaving their job, but do you think everybody gonna listen to the purpose? Because I feel like purpose, whenever you realize you need to embrace purpose,
Yeah.
it's a fight. You just give up and then
Yeah.
you just go. So I don't know if you can talk to that and go and explain it more.
Yeah. I call it, for me, it's a lot of just surrendering my will
Yes.
to my creator's will,
Yeah.
right? Destiny, what I was truly birthed on this earth to do, to
Yep.
really. And don't get me wrong, I understand that not everyone who's a part of the great resignation this is leaving for purpose.
Purpose.
I
Yeah.
understand that, right? Because why? Some people are just tired.
Yeah.
They they're just tired. They want to do something different,
Different. Yep.
right? They want to do something different. Some people, they want to explore more. They've had enough, right? So I get that. The statistics are still out there as to why people are leaving, right? We don't know for sure exactly what avenue everyone is going into. We know that some desire to be entrepreneurs and they were fearful, and now they're getting the courage to get up and go, right? Call it that they're following the trend. And that trend may end at some point. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Exactly. But I
Yeah.
do agree with you that yes, purpose is where where destiny and they meet, right?
Yeah.
And we're giving over our will, we're submitting our will to our creator, allowing him to direct our path, right?
Yes.
Allowing him to get us to the place where he had designed originally for us to be and to work in. Now, does that mean that it's a non-paying, no resources? Does
Yeah.
that mean that that is it? No. For a while, I said to myself, I did not move until year 5 or year 6
Yep.
after identifying that, hey, this is where Grace, this is what you're doing is not
Yep.
what you need to be doing. Right? I did not make that move until I was burnt out, until
Yeah.
I was frustrated and tired and knew that, okay, there's got to be more.
Oh yeah.
right? I knew that there's got to be more. And I said that to myself for several years. But then I created a plan and I worked towards achieving the more. I gained some security with our finances. I talked with my husband and then I went after more, right?
Wow.
However, I knew that I struggled with the idea of going into my purpose because I failed at the time to see how that was going to allow me to have the level of life that I had
Yes,
created.
you're accustomed to. Yeah, you're accustomed to, right? You have
Exactly.
to make a sacrifice.
Exactly. Exactly. So I tell myself, oh, Grace, you're gonna make the sacrifice. You gotta walk out on water, and whatever happens, happens, right? That's
Yeah.
what I told myself. But and that's little did I know that the same that my purpose was able to bring me, the revenue, serving the people, and in the way that I'm serving is able to bring me the income that will cause me to forget about the fear that of not moving, right? So
Yeah.
that's why I believe that sometimes we fail to operate in our purpose and allow it to sit there and lay dormant even after we've identified it, right? Even after our creator God has showed it to us. we
Yes.
we fail to move into it. We don't have all the resources. We don't think that we're able to maximize on it.
Nice.
But that is the fear talking and not necessarily the facts, right? Not
Yep.
necessarily faith talking. And so now I'm able to help different people to realize, hey, there's so much more that you need to understand about what we're capable of doing than just sitting and just saying, oh, I don't think.
Wow. Well said. So, what is the like the things for you when you look back, you're most proud of you accomplished?
Oh, wow. It is first and foremost, I want to say it is writing my book, right? Um, I never thought I would be able to complete my book because I do not love to write.
Okay.
I can speak. I
Yep.
love to encourage, but completing my book, I was able to finish it in about 3 months. You know,
Wow.
And I was able to complete it in 3 months. After putting together the steps that I used, I was able to complete it in 3 months. So then, now being the CEO of my own company, my own organization, and so I'm super excited about that. And now being the mom that has the freedom to take care of kids, to work in ministry, and also to do the things that I've wanted to do, desired to do for so long. Those are the things that I'm most excited about that I've accomplished. And of course, it doesn't end there, right?
Nah, nah, nah. So, what is the best you ever heard, Captain?
I would have to say, Grace, you are so real. You're so authentic. I love that I can come to you as a resource, and you're going to tell me the truth, right? And you're going to be able to, if you can answer whatever it is that I'm facing, that you can direct me to the right people. And I love that. I love that I don't hoard information. I pass it on because my idea is that I want you to grow and to win in whatever you're doing. I want you to blossom. All right. So I don't feel the need to hold on to anything, as well as I'm gonna always show you the true Grace. I I spent a lot of years hiding and not believing in who I am. And so now I'm fully blown into, hey, this is Grace, this is what you get, and I'm not holding back. So I will have to say it's the authenticity of who I am.
So, what do you think people misunderstood about you the most?
I think that they misunderstand my love. They misunderstand my willingness to do for them. So they take it as a means to step on grace or walk over grace. But then I seek first to understand who you are and then to be understood.
Okay.
So if you're gonna start taking me for granted, then I'll have all the right to step back and allow you to see who I am and what I'm capable of doing. So I think people oftentimes misunderstand that. And then once they realize who I am, then they get the full picture and have to apologize. So yes, I would have to say that is it.
So, and as we talking with so our listeners, viewers, it's a diverse group. So, what do you think? What advice would you give them at the way of starting the career? They just starting a new career too because of the great resignation. Some people are gonna start new career. So,
Yes.
what advice can you give them?
Oh my goodness. Value what you know. You know, your
Wow.
experiences, your knowledge. I teach a lot my clients on self-awareness and self-development. So
Mm,
oftentimes we feel inadequate. We feel like, we don't know anything because we don't value what we know. We don't value our experiences. We don't value the knowledge. Sometimes we want to hide our experiences. We want to hide our knowledge, even if it's a little or a lot. And I go back to my mom, Eddie. I go back to my mom. My mom had three careers when she was growing up, even with a fourth grade education. She was a seamstress, she was a saleswoman, and she was a politician, right? And with her being a politician, she knew that she was for people. She was for people. And so she leveraged that. Even with her fourth grade education, she went ahead and became friends with the noted politicians. And then she became a liaison for the community. I don't know if you've ever heard of the program where farm work, where she was the one who got the contracts to get men and women in the community to
yep.
send them to different states, to the foreign countries to
Yes.
work on the farms. So she was that person in our region. She was that person, and she looked out for the people who needed work, and she was able to help them to better their families and better their lives. So value what you know. Don't discount it. Value your experiences. It leverages you to accomplish where you're going, right?
Yep.
Don't diminish them. Even if it's your career, value what you know. A lot of times, even as a executive leader in finance or on the executive team, I used to question, hey Grace, you only have this level of education, but I had several years
But yep.
of working, and coaching and grooming junior leaders to accomplish what they saw. Several years, but for some reason, sometimes I would shrink back and say, oh no, Grace, you're not the PhD student, right? And so
Yep.
I would when I'm around them, before I would keep my mouth shut, until one of my mentors said to me, she said, we were in a meeting, and she said, Grace, um what do you have? And I said, well, and she saw that I was stumping. And she said, Grace, you presented something to us last week in our office. Tell me about it. And I presented it. I presented some ways, some contingency plans of how we could embrace the downtimes in the hotel.
Okay.
And she said, okay, so talk to us about that. And I told her what I saw and ways in which we could save money, ways in which we could make use of what we had. And that was the plan that everyone went on. That was the plan that was adopted, not
Wow.
only at that hotel, but on the other hotels. So don't discount what you know and who you are. Sometimes we fail to understand that. So even as a young leader, speak. One of the main things that my mentor, when I first became a leader years ago, my first hotel, he said, Grace, speak, ask questions.
Mm.
Ask questions, Grace. You don't know, don't pretend like you know. Pretending doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help anyone anywhere. As you would hear, closed mouth does not get fed. People can't know and
Oh my
understand.
God.
People won't know what you have if you do not open your mouth. So don't be afraid. Even if you say, "Oh, I'm gonna look stupid," who's to say? Who's to say, right? And they may have that idea. Maybe they can talk. Well, why don't you say it? It's in your thoughts.
Yes.
It's on your mind. Say it. Say it. So don't be afraid to speak. His number is what? Believe in yourself. Value your knowledge. Value your experiences, and go after what you want. Right? Go after what you want. The next thing I would say, even as one who is getting out of college, going into the work field, as one who is coming out of the great resignation and finding something else. Listen, one of the key things I learned, even in working, is that I needed to align myself with the companies that have the same beliefs and core values as I do. If not some, even the most, right? If 3 out of 5, at least. Why? Because if they do not have the same values, you're gonna find yourself conflicted. You're gonna find it in working for them, because they're gonna be doing things that you don't value. They're gonna be doing things that you don't appreciate, and you're gonna be like, "Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?" One of my main thing was how the leaders treated people, how the organization treated people. And so I determined that wherever I go, whatever I do, that I will treat people with grace and dignity, right?
Yes.
With grace and dignity. I valued everyone. I believe that everyone has something to contribute. And so I would always push those within my group, those who I led, those who I was a part of, to say what you want to say what you mean. So I valued you. I didn't treat you like another employee. I wanted you to grow and to blossom and to be seen. So that wasn't what everyone wanted to do. And I had to understand that.
Yes.
It wasn't my company. So because it wasn't my company, I said, okay, let me go somewhere where that will be appreciated.
Yes.
You know why it's
that'll be valued. Yeah.
You know why that is important, guys? Because when you are in a place that you feel valued and what you value is what they value, you will feel the desire to contribute more. You will want to impact more lives than what you are doing now. You won't begin to just sit there and just do your work and, "Oh, I'm just here to do the work. It's another day, another dollar." You hear it all the time, right? Or, "Oh, I'm just waiting for Friday to collect my paycheck." No. When you feel like you're getting to that place, then guess what? It's time for you to go, because you no longer feel valued there. So that's why you're not contributing everything that you can. 100%, I always say. Whoever works for me, I want to understand and make sure that you're giving it 100%. That it's work-life wholeness, not just balance, because work is going to pull at you. Your home is going to pull at you sometime. So can you bring work into home? Can you bring home into work? Right? Work-life wholeness. Understand that. So make sure wherever you're going that your values, your beliefs are being mirrored, if not all of them, most of them. And that's where you will begin to thrive and give your all.
Well said, Grace, and appreciate it, because what you said makes a lot of sense. And I had that conversation with somebody else saying, if you don't speak, they can't understand you, and they're not even gonna know your value because you have to speak up. No,
absolutely.
Definitely. So who has been your most important mentor?
Oh, I would have to say, as I was leading in corporate America, it was a general manager. He's now a VP of Encore, one of the hotel brands in the city, and it is Edward Maynard. he saw my value even in my first role as a leader. He I was rough. I was rough, right? I was a little like I had a lot to learn. I
Yeah.
was afraid of even going into the role,
Okay.
right? But after he would say, after my first leader failed me, he said, okay, let me take you under my wings. And
Hmm.
he started me off with a book called 1 Minute Manager. Have you ever read
Oh,
it?
no.
Okay. So absolutely read. It's the same author as Who Moved My Cheese or Who
Hmm.
Moved the Cheese, right?
Okay.
So 1 Minute Manager teaches you on what are the things that you need to really focus on and spend time on, as opposed to those that really deserves your time.
Okay.
So make sure, and he would say, Grace, because I at times will overanalyze and I would doubt, right? So
Yeah.
he would say, read this. And then he would challenge me and we would talk about the book. We would talk about the book and what are your key takeaways, and I would share them with him. He would also push me to go into programs like Six Sigma, where I was
Hmm.
like, oh my gosh, just let me get a chance to lead, to learn what I'm leading about and on
Yeah.
before I go into this. And he goes, no, you got to learn how to handle both because you have a staff of 5 and now you got to grow your own self. You need to grow and expand. And so he threw me into that program. I got my Six Sigma belt. I learned a lot in
Yep.
that program. I learned how to get to the root cause of things. And so even after I left, he was a part. We were a part of Starwood Hotels at the time, and even after I left, he still mentored me. He still mentored me, even onto my last role where I was for the hotel where I was. So again, he was one of the best ones. Now, as a leader, as an CEO, I would, call on a few other people, but as I led in corporate America, it was absolutely him.
Wow. Thank you for sharing this because one thing I'm looking at is this is so as you're talking about books now, can you share like 3 books to our audience? I think 1 Minute Manager will be part of it.
Yes,
No.
yes,
Okay.
absolutely. 1 Minute Manager, Built to Serve.
Okay.
Built to Serve is by Evan Carmichael.
Okay.
Um, Evan Carmichael, and he talks about purpose, understanding your purpose, why you're there, and serving in a magnificent way. That we're all created to serve either the few, the 25 who are around us, or the masses. So wherever you are, at whatever point, using what you have within you to serve those people and to serve what you're most passionate, in the areas you're most passionate about. He was the one who helped me to understand that, hey, my purpose is not my passion, and my passion is not my purpose.
Wow.
So yeah, so I would say definitely Built to Serve by Evan Carmichael, right? and
Yep.
the next one and the next one, I would say it's a tie between Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Oh boy, that's my favorite book. Oh man, I'm glad somebody just so. And I'm gonna let you finish. I was Steph Curry, and then he had an interview was talking about this book.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Some of the habits that
Yes.
I garnered over the last 2-3 years um, was because of reading that book.
Wow.
Learning the importance of routine and discipline. I gained from that book. I wish I had read it when I was much younger as a leader. I'm
Okay.
sure that I would have gotten so much further if I had just read that book and started hammering down some habits that were much more beneficial to the who I want to become,
Yeah.
right? To the who
Yeah.
I'm
You're right.
becoming.
You're right.
Absolutely.
That's a
So
great book, and I will by James Clear, right?
yes, yes.
Yes, and that's a really, really good book, and I enjoy Actually, I had it for about a month in my audiobook,
Yeah.
and when I'm driving, I'm listening to it. That's how I kind of digest what he was saying,
Yeah.
and which is very powerful.
Yeah. It's it's much to take in. I have to take it piece by piece. But
Yes,
yeah.
it's a lot
But
to take in.
yeah, the part I love about it most is when he talks about temptation bundling. I'll let you look into that.
Yeah. And thank you. Like I said, this is great. And one thing, like we can, and for me, the experience is I'm meeting a lot
Mhm.
of people, great people, and I'm doing the podcast. I'm enjoying it too because
Mhm. Mhm.
what you guys are sharing with us, it's
Yeah.
part of my life
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
You said you put yourself to college, so yeah, there was no saving, parental saving to kind of lead you to, but you have to work, college, and then work
Yeah.
another job or
Yeah.
doing things, take care of the family.
Mhm.
So what kept you going? That's a real big question I have for
Oh
you.
my goodness. What kept me going in working? I would absolutely say it was I wanted to do great things to make my mom proud, right? I knew that she worked so hard, even when she got sick and she had to stop working for a while.
Okay.
Uh, she had a heart condition. She still, pushed. She still, Grace, you gotta go. You gotta finish. You gotta make it happen. Grace, you gotta go. And also, I was the youngest girl. I was given an opportunity that my older siblings did not have to come here, to go through school, and to be able to get the education that they did not get. All right. So I wanted to make it worth her while. I also wanted to help her to understand that even though she stopped working, that someone will be able to take care of her. Someone will be able to help her and to make sure that she's not having to scrape,
Yeah.
continue to scrape for it. So
Yeah.
I wanted to take care of my mom. So once I got out of college, I was driven to go and get a job that will pay me for what I'm worth, right? My knowledge, my experience. And I continued to push and push. And after about 5 6 years, I got married to my husband, and he continued to push me as well. When I would I would I would say, oh no, I don't want to become a manager yet, because I see the other controllers, and it's so tough.
Yep.
It's so tough. They have to sacrifice so much. And he goes, why not? Why not, Grace? Go and do it. Do it, Grace. And so he pushed me, and that was my first leadership role. And he said, you can make the difference. You can make it different. And so I listened to that, and I kept on going. And doing that led me to having a greater income to take care of to help my mom, and also to have my husband and to lead the life that we wanted to live. Then I started having a family. And
Yeah.
I knew that the income that we had could not take care of the family. How did I know that, Eddie? Because at year 2 or 1.5 of our marriage, we were in an apartment, and we got an eviction notice.
Wow.
And my husband had to go to court, right? While I went to work. We were living paycheck to paycheck. And I said, Grace, what are you gonna do? You're in finance. You need to make this big. You need to do something. So I determined that I was gonna scale the ladder. I was gonna keep on going.
Yep.
I was gonna keep on going because I did not want to do 3 jobs. So
Yep.
I had
Definitely.
what it takes to make sure that we were having the resources that were coming in financially. So I kept on growing, and I kept on getting promoted, and I kept on going. And that is why, Eddie, I said I cannot stop because my family is now here, right?
Yep.
We're together. My mom was still alive, and after she passed away a few years ago, but my family is still here, so they are what keeps me going even now in my business. I said I don't want my kids, my family, to go through some of the tough times that I experienced, so I need to keep going. So they are my why, Eddie. They are my why. I want them to enjoy some great things, not everything in
Yes.
world. They're gonna have to go through some
Yep.
experiences too and be resilient, right?
Yeah.
If I give them everything, they won't be resilient. They won't
Nah.
learn that, right? So I'm gonna give them some things, but I want to not have them having the experience of, hey, I need to scrape, I need to, and I also want to teach them, Eddie. I
Yep.
also want to teach them that, hey, as you can do amazing things, you can, every single one of you, you can do amazing things. Even if wealth didn't come from my mom, I want wealth to come from
Of
me.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And looking at the family, a very beautiful family.
Thank you.
So, how do you deal with four boys? I'm just saying, right?
Four boys. I'm the queen. So
Yeah, definitely,
yes,
definitely.
they're amazing. They're amazing. My husband is super supportive. He does things that others don't, So he's the dad that gets up and he makes breakfast. He's the dad that brings the kids to school. He's the dad that is,
Wow.
so I'm not doing this on my own. He works, we work in tandem, we work together to make it happen and to take care of our family together. So I wish I could say I'm alone at it. I'm not alone. He helps me greatly, and we just make it happen. That's it. That's it.
That's great.
Uh,
That's great.
they are if you're facing the camera left to right, they are Caleb, who is 12, Luke, who is 9, and Micah, who is 2 years old, and
Wow.
my husband Nehemiah.
Wow. Great family. Great family. And nice pictures too on your
Thank
website.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
So let's talk about transition to freedom.
Uh,
Your book, I know you mentioned about it. You said it took you 3 months to write, to finish it. But who is it for? So what's the target audience for this book?
Sure. Transition to freedom is for the woman or man who is feeling, as I said, stuck. Not for those who are excited about their job, right? And wanting to dominate. I want you to stay there because you are needed. But it's for those who are sitting there. You have gotten to a place where you're neglecting your job. You're burnt out, right? You just don't want to do what you're doing anymore.
Yep.
I want you want different for life. I want you to understand that there is a level of freedom that you can experience when you are doing the things that you're most excited about. Then you are doing the things that are fulfilling you, that you are purpose for, right? So it's for that person who is looking for purpose, who is looking for freedom, who wants that level of fulfillment, who want to not feel stuck, and that they're at a dead end. You're not really at a dead end. You just need to identify
Yeah.
what you need to do next and go through. One of the things I talked about in the first chapter is to identify why is it you are at the place where you are feeling like, oh, I'm just so done. I'm just so
Yeah.
done, or you're feeling a level of incongruency with who you are and what you're supposed to be doing. Then you need to move. You need to move. And why do I say you need to move? Because if you're in a area in doing a job where you're just collecting the paycheck and you're not really excited about where you are, then you're doing yourself and your employer a disservice. You're
Yep.
doing both
You're
of
right.
you a disservice
Yeah.
because you could be doing something else and soaring, dominating, doing incredible, where you're getting the accolades and the acknowledgement, where you are serving the people and making an impact, not just getting a paycheck. Come on now, you're spending so many hours there just to get a paycheck.
Yeah.
Anywhere where I was, I wanted to know that I'm serving the purpose of why I'm there, right? So I want you, if you're feeling neglected or stuck, or you want freedom, or you will just want more out of life, then that's the book for you. That's the book I want you to read, because
Yeah.
it talks about, it helps you to identify your next. It helps you to set the goals that are necessary to transition. It helps you to budget, because finance is my background, right? So who
Yes.
am I to not give you some budgeting tips and tools? And it also helps you to identify the vision. What is your vision and what's next for you? So, and so many more. I talk about 9 steps in the book, and so that, because I want the person to be successful in their transition and not just jumping ship.
Okay. And this is great. This is great. We're gonna shift to hot topics now.
Yes.
So let's get to hot topics with fast on this. So now, yes, this is a great book, but not every book is meant for everybody, right?
Right. Exactly.
So who are the ones not gonna benefit from this book?
Who are the ones who are not going to benefit?
Yeah.
Don't buy the book if you are happy where you are serving. Don't buy it, because I don't want to give you any ideas.
Okay.
Don't buy the book. Don't buy the book if you are a CEO who is doing big things, right? Don't buy the book. Because we talk about leadership, but not that type of leadership. I'm talking to the junior leaders who wants to grow and blossom. So don't buy the book, right? Don't buy the book if you're a speaker, unless you want to talk about the topics of transition. But don't buy the book there. If you're a YouTuber or a gamer, don't buy the book. That's it.
So don't buy the book if you're not gonna read it, right?
Right.
Nah, I think everybody needs to buy this book. At the end of the day, Transition to Freedom. Great title. At some point, you're gonna get to this. So you're gonna need the book. So go get it. It's available on your website. So the website is graceisenough.co. Graceisenough.co. So second question. Great is enough.
Wow.
What does it mean?
Oh, wow. So real quick, I got that name from God, right? From my creator. So when I was struggling and praying and say, okay, I'm going to move out, I'm going to submit, I'm going to do what you asked me to do. He said to me, Grace, it's not just your name. It's not just Grace Ann Johnson is enough. That's not what I'm talking about. It's grace, the undeserved gifts. All those gifts that I've stored up in you, that I've invested in you as your creator, as your God, as your Lord, all those, you need to use them for something. They are enough, right? For you to go ahead and do what you were called to do. So oftentimes we believe that we're not enough. We're inadequate. We're this, we're that. We don't have all, right? We have everything that we need, because when he created us, he placed those things that we need within us, right? The belief to go, right? The gifts to leverage what we're going to do. He placed them within us. And then what we want, he allow us to meet those people and get those resources for what we want. So when he said grace is enough, I'm saying that, hey, what God has placed within you, it's enough to get you going.
Ooh, yes, well said. So one thing I very enjoyed it, because you're a great guest. You're a great guest. You really give it all. You explain it, and I think people will relate to your story. And I think you have a great family, and I think your grace is enough too. And go with your purpose, and be who you need to be. And I
Mhm.
think on your on your website you say, I am God created. I am who God created me to be, therefore I am enough.
That's right.
And I think that's very, very important so people can understand whenever you embrace your calling,
Mm-hmm.
this is a transition to freedom too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
So you
Yep.
meet your destiny and you're gonna serve your purpose. So
Yes.
last word for you.
As you said, as you just read, you are who God created you to be, so therefore you are enough, right? And that's what I heard, and that's what I want to transfer to you. Whatever it is that you're doubting that that you can do, stop doubting and start believing. Stop believing that you are enough. Part one of the biggest things that we fail to do is believe in ourselves. We believe in all these different things, and we fail to believe in ourselves. I want you to believe in you.
Wow, thank you and well said. This is Eddy Dacius with Grace Ann Johnson.
Thank
She has
you.
a book, Transition to Freedom, and she was here with us and she explained her career. She explained how she got to embrace her calling, different obstacle towards her life and career. And now we just gonna say goodbye. We appreciate you coming in. We liked everything that was said and we enjoyed it. God bless. We'll see you soon,
God
guys.
bless you guys. See you. And thank you so much for having me. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Thank you, Grace. Appreciate